Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, I believe this is the third match? It might be the fifth match of round
Hello,
two.
ladies and gentlemen, and
Oh,
welcome
I can hear
to
myself.
Nice little early rounds.
There we
right?
go.
We do have Qentiko and Indominus. Correct me if that first name a little bit weird. Let's correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it's just Qentiko,
Qentiko,
or maybe
baller.
Qentiko or something.
Yeah, Qentiko and Indominus looks like they've been practicing the run while they've been waiting for us to start up.
Yep, that is very normal. They want to be in peak tip-top shape. Both runners will be running key route.
Oh, both on key route today. Okay. I mean that's been the new go-to overall. I mean, we had the most recent world records running it as well.
Yeah. It saves a lot of time for those who don't know, because you skip going and grabbing cloak, as well as 2 boss fights and 2 arenas.
Yeah, skipping the final judge being one of the main ones, and you also skip out on Lace 1, right?
Yeah. Lace 1 and Moorwing are the boss fights that are skipped.
Morwing. That's right, because you get Phantom instead of Judge.
Yes. Alright, so we do actually have both of our runners ready. Oh,
there is a second commentator. If you guys can't hear them, we do have... They're the same as our restreamer, which is why you're only really seeing my tag at the moment.
there we go.
Okay, there we go. We have Cute Puppy showing up now for you guys. But yeah, our restreamer Cute Puppy, they wanted to hop on the mic and everything, so I'm with them today. It's gonna be a fun day.
Let me fix this super quickly.
I guess technically it could have been a ghost commentator, because I could have had somebody at my house as well, which would have been kind of lit. Qentiko is our second seed today with a 53-50. Jesus. Absolutely phenomenal PB right now. Indominus on the other side, he's going to be at a 58-53. Yeah, cute Puppy was invisible because they're used to showing just the people that they hear, not their mic when they go. Because normally you can't really hear them too much, you know. Alrighty,
right.
we're all set to go ahead and get started here. I'm doing pretty good. I don't really do a lot of stuff for a lot of the holidays, and so I actually worked yesterday, which was very, very nice way to get a bunch of extra money. I work at a hospital, so like somebody has to work it, and I figure, hey, I'm not going to be doing anything special. I might as well do it and earn some extra money.
Yep. The runners are now off, and the first change that we will be seeing is that a recent rule change was made to allow the runners to start from an Act 1 start to skip the opening cutscenes. And this is just an
Which
RTA.
is mad nice.
Yeah, it allows for the race to get on a lot faster.
We'll take that every day of the week. Of course, right out of the gate, we see a little bit off on the positioning from Indominus on that initial spike into this cutscene. Both of them snatching up the frayed rosary string, which you're going to see a lot of routing for that.
And the reason why we need this rosary string is because we need to save up 500 rosaries for a simple key to buy from Peb at Bone Bottom.
And that's the main definer of the route too. That's how you go ahead and you skip the Morwing fight, especially, as well as the Lace 2 fight. I forget, where does that Where do you go through for unlocking with the key?
The key unlocks the area of the game called the Wormways, and that gets you from Bone Bottom into the Wormways and then into Shellwood.
So I mean, skipping out on 2 boss fights can be really nice. I mean, I also just like the sauce of lace, to be honest. So, but skipping out on more ring, always a W. Qentiko going ahead and damage tanking right there, as you saw the Moss Mother slide through the right. Both of them so far on the almost the exact same pace. The one miss that we saw from, well, we've seen 2 misses from Indominus thus far. We saw kind of a miss angle on the swipe at that first roly-poly bug to get the platform. And then we also saw the miss on that first cutscene, not quite getting the positioning down.
And it will be these small differences that separate the runners from a 53 and a 58.
Yeah, I mean, 5 minutes, that's only like such a small amount of time difference in the grand scheme of things to be laid out across the whole hour of the run.
Yeah, most runners, I mean, it is just the details after you get a certain time.
I think another thing that we're seeing right now is just the speed at which Qentiko is going with those dashes. I mean, those things are on point.
I wonder how many hours he has practiced doing just neutral pogos.
Too many. Movement absolutely beautiful here. We're going to be getting to the first skip of the run here in just a second. Of course, it's going to be that beast fly.
First, they will be collecting 60 rosaries for their key route, but the Beastfly Pogo skip skips doing an entire gauntlet and wrapping around the long way to get into the above room.
Yeah, the gauntlets are really just a bane of time inside of this game. Of course, that beast fly, you don't have to even get it that high. That's one of those things that I know a lot of people early on were kind of struggling with. They went more so for the side of the head, basically, because of how high up they brought him.
Yeah, they need to land on the back of the beast fly as it's dashing. But there are a lot of variations of the beast fly pogo that will work.
Going ahead and hitting that lever, was that just a little sauce thing, or are they coming back to that later?
I believe they use that to go up from a lower room in the future in order to have express access to the pilgrims in the room below. Or they go through that room and then down, and therefore they don't want to be up hitting the lever because it takes a bit more time to go up and hit the lever then.
Makes sense.
It's just a small time save, I believe.
And of course, we're going to see Qentiko take that long way to the left around. The whole point, gathering those rosaries, right? That's the huge distinguisher in this run compared to the others. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. We've seen a couple of things so far, like Indominus just missing out on a couple of specific movement pieces, and that's costed them to be like close to a minute behind now, maybe even 2.
They don't seem to be a minute behind yet. Maybe 20 seconds. They will be coming up on this beast fight, or on this Bell Beast fight. But yeah, already 20 seconds behind in the first 3 splits.
That's going to be a bit of a problem long term. Oh, wait. Did Qentiko... Oh, my God. Wait. Qentiko missing out on skipping phase 2. If Indominus can save that time, that could be huge.
Indominus also barely missing it.
Oh, so unfortunate. That could have been a huge way for Indominus to get back in here.
It would have just completely negated the 20 seconds of movement time loss.
Qentiko almost through the cutscene. As Indominus barely entering in here. And Indominus now 20 minutes behind. It's crazy that Indominus has missed out on 20 minutes at this point, right, puppy?
I'm assuming you mean seconds, but yes, it is.
No, it's 20 minutes. I don't know what you're talking about.
It is very, like, it is insane how much just small details make up the movement and how that can drastically affect the runners.
Both of them having small signs of misses in optimizations. Main one for Qentiko, of course, being missing out on that, skipping that second phase. The bells falling from the ceiling and everything add what, like 10-20 seconds?
I think the exact timing is 15 seconds for the phase change.
Yeah, close to 15. Thank you. And again, Indominus having just a slight slip, that's going to cost him just a little bit of time, but we've seen that time already be adding up quite a bit. And now these areas, at this point, you're seeing them take these like long ways around just to get a little bit more rosaries. Sorry, I'll turn my mic up, Savvy. Appreciate that. I have my mic closer to my face today, so I thought I needed to do my little setting to turn it down, but I'm also kind of talking quieter than I normally would, to be fair. Alright, and we're going to see the next skip from Qentiko right here. That little bell hop off the top of the dome.
It is just a small skip that skips a lever on the left side of the room.
Very anti-lever in this household.
It is true.
Good bounce off the ostrich right there. It's always those small little details within the movement that look so nice. Ooh, Indominus missing out on it 3 times now, though. Finally got it at the end as they killed it. Qentiko finishing out that gauntlet and leaving the room at 11 minutes 8 seconds. Pretty good pacing so far. Yeah, it's like a little ostrich. I stand by that one. And Indominus now officially like 20 seconds behind, leaving that gauntlet 20 seconds later than Qentiko could. Qentiko finally with the dashing, meaning we're going to add that little bit of extra sauce to the dashes here.
These are called pogo dashes and move approximately 24% faster than just regularly sprinting.
Wild little bonus to cut that time off.
And it does look like I'm experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties with both stream outputs being paused and losing a little bit of audio. I'm unsure what is causing this.
It's okay. Things happen. By the way, I know there's been some questions about the singe thing in Qentiko's pronouns. I couldn't find anything pronoun-wise, but it's a small little town in Croatia. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a little reference for Qentiko. Who knows?
Okay, I think the outputs are back. I'm going to do a quick little timer sync.
Yeah, that looks like we're...
Alright, there we go.
Alrighty.
Sorry about that.
Beautiful. Things happen, it is what it is. As we get some more of it here. Now at this point, we are collecting mad money right here. Alright, this is capitalism to the max. Ooh, Qentiko missing on one of those jumps right there. That's kind of the hard part with these like bouncy flowers and everything. It's just the positioning of it.
Yeah. As mentioned, the runners do need to collect 500 rosaries. And Qentiko is well on his way to it. Meanwhile, Indominus not too far behind, but 500 rosaries for the simple key.
Yeah, all the way up to 411 on Qentiko's side. Only 336 on Indominus. Still some money to be made here. Alright, and now we can finally go ahead, start heading a little bit closer to the city as we round out some of that money. Knocking down the elevator to send it back down. Qentiko with the perfect little dashes there.
Indominus very unfortunately falling from the top of Moss Grotto down into Bone Bottom without hitting the lever.
It's going to cost a little bit of time now as they're having to climb back up.
Looks like they have to do a second Beastfly Pogo.
Get a first try though, thankfully. Qentiko making their way through the wormways, getting the little pogo skips. How do those pogo skips work on the worms overall?
I'm actually unsure on the exact details, but I believe they just pogo and then use a dash to air stall. A dash against the wall to air stall for a short amount of time to let the next worm come down. And then there's a very small amount of space where they can just not get hit along the wall.
Oh, it's a little space along the wall. Okay, I just kind of assumed it was like the bigger bugs inside of like the the main area where you can dash into them, hit them, and turn off their hitbox. I didn't realize that there was just enough along that wall. That's sick.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like they would get hit because they are pogoing after the enemy would hit them.
Mm. Gotcha. Tico bringing over the little flower for the next skip here.
That is actually a pretty significant skip because it does skip a boss fight.
Yeah, Splinter Mother. I know that was one of the ones that a lot of people were having issues with at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I
It was
believe
one of the 2 boss fights.
Yeah, one of the bosses that got nerfed.
We'll say Qentiko losing a little bit of time here as they messed up, slowing it down as they went through the second time just to make sure that they got it right that time around. So we talked about like the time saves that the big time saves for the key route, of course, being skipping Morwing and then skipping Lace 1 as well. But there's like a significant thing that can really hurt the time and make you have to be way more precise, and that being like the loss of the cloak.
Yeah, there are very different choke points in the routes versus a cloaked route, for example. You have to do the same things that the people with cloak do, however, you just don't have a cloak, and that makes it a lot harder on you. And that makes it a not very beginner-friendly route, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the big one that comes to mind is the weight of Bellheart, right? Or not the Bellheart, but the Bellways to the chorus. The other one being the pathing to the final High Halls Gauntlet as well, is it can be a little punishing if you mess up on some of the movement, and the cloak is really what's meant to enable you to do that.
Yeah, both the Architect's Melody and the High Halls sections are definitely choke points for cloakless runners.
Indominus finally get the claw grip as Qentiko nailing down on Widow. Such a beautiful fight when you get to this level.
Very nice Widow.
Able to go. Yeah, I mean, already through Widow at 19 minutes 30 seconds. Indo has been kind of struggling on some of these skips and movements, and it started to cost them a lot of time. I mean, missing the Shellwood Pogo skip is a big one. Now getting right into Widow, healing before talking to her and everything. And now here we go. Let's see how fast we can get through.
Does look like he will be using some of the pogo dashes through her.
Key thing to just keep on the pressure and keep that damage rolling. Ooh, a little bit of a whiff right there, missing out on some of the potential damage. Taking bells for damage, putting them down to 2 hearts. This game is not friendly to anybody at 2 hearts, as any casual player could tell you. Good little parry swing to guarantee that he didn't take the damage right there. Alrighty, and Indominus finishing it out. Right as Qentiko finishing up the cutscene. Tico going ahead, quitting out after hitting the bell swing.
That's because it skips just the long wind-up time of the bell hitting and then the bench coming out and the gates opening. Most of the quit-outs that we will see are because of long cutscenes that are just skipped by doing a quit-out instead.
Do you know what patch these two are running on?
They are both running key route, and therefore I believe both their patches are the 328 patch, which is the release patch of the game.
So key route still being one that you were. I just know that we've started down patching as of some of the newer patches.
It's mainly just key route. It just down patches because of the buggy wall jump that was fixed in the first patch.
Got you. Alright, and since we went ahead and skipped out on Morwing via the key, we're just heading straight to the fog now.
And this makes it so that we don't have to take any of the bells, which would be required to go through the last judge route. Another quirk of this route is that we see Lise in the Sinner's Road because we did not fight her in the Deep Docks arena.
I'm glad that they did little things like that just to still give you a piece of Lace if you skip out on her.
It is very interesting that Team Cherry added that, considering the game nearly forces you into fighting Lace casually. A nice...
I mean, hey, it's that small little knowledge check, right? Like, them as a team, they knew that they wanted to not take away a lot of the freedom of exploration of the game. So Qentiko not quite feeling right about that room, going ahead and switching over, hitting the cycling there.
And Missed Cloakless is certainly one of the scariest parts of this run.
Yeah, I can't imagine always at risk to fall and thus restart the mist is a miserable prospect to have.
Not to mention the long run in Sinners where there is a chance of getting mucked to make you unable to heal.
Qentiko, though, making it through still fairly quickly. About halfway to the finish of this run already. Now, we saw Lace a little bit earlier, but we're going to be seeing the other of the two sisters, Phantom.
It's quite interesting that Phantom and Lace are sisters in the game.
Yeah.
Ooh, Indominus taking a very unlucky double damage hit and being mucked going into mist.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. They're unable to heal until you get rid of the maggots, of course, and at the same time, you have to use a full Silk Bar to get rid of them, so we might not be seeing the capability to get healed. Qentiko pushing Phantom into the corner, make it a lot faster for that Silk Screen.
Also hitting the edge of the little organ thing, organ attack. That does actually register as a hit on Phantom, which is why she dies so fast.
Qentiko blazing through. Indominus pushing through the mist thus far. Direction those flies going to the left, we got a Siren in range. Realizing that that left was not, or that up top wasn't the one that he needed, cycling back on through, gets it. Indominus able to pull on through even with being mucked.
It will be a damageless mist, I believe. Well,
yeah, not a single point of damage. Very impressive. For sure, the one bigger problem of getting mucked like that was the fact that Indominus had to go ahead and grab the bench. Imagine if they extended Phantom's hurt box and everything from the organ attack to the mist that plays in that little maze area.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Hitting the side of the organ attack and everything within this fight, right? That doing damage to Phantom.
Yeah.
If they did it to the, I guess not the mist, the steam. Sorry, the steam that piles through.
That would actually be fairly
section.
interesting, yeah.
Just swinging at the steam so that you could go ahead and get the kill early on there. Alrighty, Qentiko making his way on through. Qentiko also grabbed the bench. My bad, DK. Appreciate that. I forgot. But you are very right. So normally what could have been a little bit of a time loss, Qentiko had also used to make sure that he was healed for the Phantom fight.
I think it's just a matter of, since it's a race environment, the runners opt for more safe strategies instead of risking everything.
That's fair. It's the difference between trying to go for your PB and just winning the race to move forward. That's kind of an interesting thing because we did the last one I commentated, we saw somebody en route for their PB, you know, being willing to take the risks that you normally wouldn't inside of that race format, because ultimately their focus was still on them reaching that PB rather than necessarily first and foremost being the race.
Do believe that was seen. Remember Scene mentioning, like, he's not too worried about the race due to having such a huge lead on PB.
I think it's a really interesting prospect to have. But also just from the standpoint that, like, ultimately, is the goal to win the tournament, or is the goal to push yourself up higher on that speedrun leaderboard?
I mean, I think most runners go into it with the mentality of both.
Well, and I think the reason why it comes from that is that these sort of tournaments, if you use them in a good way for like speedrunning mentality wise, then it puts a more focused aim on improvement still. Hence why it like pulls through of not just the tourney win. Because if you're going for just the tourney win, there's going to be moments where you take safer plays than you would going for a PB. But if rather instead you use it to put that fire under you, that pressure on you to do more, then you're going to push for a PB and some of the stuff that is a little bit riskier that you're still learning sometimes.
Yeah. It would probably differ from runner to runner in that case.
I love the music inside of the little areas here.
Yeah, Clockwork Core is very interesting. Just mechanical.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
and the music is just very, like the rhythm to it and everything feels that environment very well. There was a question from the chat, and you would know this better than I would. Are the runners allowed to watch the stream?
The runners are allowed to watch the stream. It isn't always to the runners' benefit because they may feel more pressure. But they are allowed to watch it. Some runners opt not to do so. Some runners like to do it just to figure out where their opponent is. See if they need to risk stuff.
Take more risks, that way they can catch up, or if they can play safer to maintain the lead.
That
Ooh,
will be a very unfortunate death.
yeah, that just an unfortunate dash altogether, right? Like getting a little antsy to go ahead and get to the other side, avoid getting slashed once more by one of the dancers, and dashed right into the one that they had been damaging.
It is very unfortunate.
Ooh, Indominus actually starting to flub a little bit more as well. We saw like another missed dash, maybe just feeling a little too much pressure here.
I mean, it's not very surprising, especially considering that he is the one on the back foot here.
Yeah. Put on the back foot from the beginning, and also just has a 5-minute slower PB. And pressure was already on Indominus to perform to begin with, and then with a couple of misses during some of the early pathing, that doesn't help. Qentiko burning through Trobio as Indominus still on their way back to the Clockwork Dancers.
Kirby taking a lot of damage. You see just how much Qentiko has practiced this Trobio fight.
So I know early on, a lot of the time the mist routes would use the parry for like Trobio and everything. What was like the main switch back to the Silk Spear for that?
I believe it was mostly just because there's no good spot to equip parry, and spear is just so much more versatile for the other parts of the game. Like, for example, in the Dancer's fight, it's way better against the wall. Plus, in the release patch, the parry is a very weak ability, damage-wise.
Got ya.
So it just didn't really make sense for runners to have the benefits of the parry being a panic button in comparison to a damage button that's also very versatile and long range.
That makes sense. Side note, Qentiko going a little bit of that long way around on that final room area. Can you not do the normal like dash and skip up to the top there without the cloak?
It is cloak required. You need to air stall for a little bit.
Okay. Gotcha.
Just like the skip here.
Yeah.
Going left side is also cloak required. But Qentiko really giving us a good performance today.
Yeah, it's looking really good so far. Less than 38 minutes and already most of the way through this gauntlet here after the fall line. Tearing through. And Indominus making through the cog core here on their way to Trobio at this point. Gonna first have this gauntlet here, of course, that, you know, Qentiko's gauntlet of this room went absolutely phenomenal. Getting the double kill with the spear, not the triple, unfortunately.
Yeah, those spear triple kills are not the easiest. But when you do get them, man, is it satisfying.
Yeah, and it's such a time saver too on top of that. Alrighty, just Spider now to go ahead and finish it off. Indominus. Quick 8-9 piece there. Go ahead and finish them off. Qentiko onto the first song that he needs to learn here for the 3-part chorus. I love the movement in this game so much. Like, Hollow Knight already looked really cool to move with at times, but this game just takes it to another level.
Silksong just has so many cool and unique movement options for Hornet. Especially on the Hunter Crest, where you have the diagonal pogo.
Indominus taking out this absolute queen of a character right here.
He'll unfortunately be a little bit low, though.
Yeah, one mask, that is a scary position to be. That's why you're going to see the reveal right there. Does not want to play no games with that.
Qentiko displaying how the Cogwork core is meant to be done without the cloak.
Dude, this looks absolutely absurd. He's already done with that. Jeez, I look over to watch Indominus fight Trovio and Qentiko wasting no time. We're getting the next piece of the course, alright? Good boy. That the movement that Qentiko is displaying without the cloak is absolutely phenomenal.
It is very impressive, the level of skill these runners have. Especially for no cloak.
One of the most breathtaking moments of this game right here.
It is just beautiful.
It's such a cinematic piece. As for deaths, the only person that has suffered a death has been Indominus, with only one.
It'll be a very unfortunate death.
Yeah, it was definitely during one of the parts that can be most significant to run dropping. It was the third piece of the Cogwork Dancers fight is the worst part. It wasn't even like an early part of it. He was almost done.
Yeah, super unfortunate.
So we're coming up on one of the pieces that I think is a really good example of like what could be a tourney versus PB decision. If you are wanting to guarantee that you win this as Qentiko, high key, I think you grab the High Hall's bench before the gauntlet. If you're just looking at it from a tourney standpoint. But if you're looking at it from the PB perspective, which I believe Qentiko is going to do, then you don't grab that bench because you like miss out on a pretty big skip.
I would actually say that both of the High Halls benches don't lose too much time. I would say maybe 5 seconds to get max.
Gotcha. We are going to see Qentiko take that bench, opting for the tourney over the PB potential.
I also do believe that it allows for a save quit out of the conductor's thing. Which I do believe is slightly faster than running out, but at the same time is not necessarily.
I have no idea if Qentiko's on a PB pace. I just know that like when I'm talking about that, it's like decisions that optimize time versus optimize your chances at winning this specific match, right? The idea being that you only have one chance to win the tourney match right now versus like the potential opportunity of getting your PB, right?
I do have an answer for you, Vey. Qentiko is currently 30 seconds behind his PB.
Gotcha. So at that point, you might as well guarantee the PB. I do think that might be a good idea to add to the layout here, seems like there is these bottom sections underneath the like cans and everything, having a small section dedicated to like how their current split is and how their current time compared to their PB is. I think it's a good little informational tool.
Can look into that, but
That's it for another time.
yeah. It's also not always that runners have splits. Like, for example, if you asked me if Indominus was on PB pace right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Gotcha. Ooh, Qentiko taking some nasty hits here, dropping to one mask, opting to go ahead and get the heal instead of go for the time, which I cannot blame him. This is High Hall, at least in my opinion, the most difficult fight in the whole run.
These double clappers are very brutal.
Such huge hitboxes, dishing out 2 damage apiece on these hits. Alright, we take care of one. That should guarantee the rest of it here.
And those clappers, very, very scary. So it does look like Qentiko is on pace for a 54. So we will be...
Damn, okay. So I mean, hey, maybe if there's some optimizations to be done within like Lace 2 or Grandmother Silk, maybe there's a potential there, or probably not.
I don't believe so. He ended up losing
Okay.
more time on the high halls due to a bit of an unlucky clappers, but is only plus 40 on his PB. So maybe if he pops off completely, something can happen. But I think 40 seconds.
Takes a little damage there.
I think 40 seconds is a bit much to save.
Yeah, that's fair. Would have to have had a pretty sloppy Lace 2 and Grandmother Silk in the past to make up for.
Yeah.
His final boss fights are already pretty clean. Gotcha. So yeah, probably not going to be able to make up the time for that. This music is so good. Gives me chills.
Yeah, Team Cherry definitely cooked with that one. Indominus, though.
Yeah, it's very ominous. It's very cinematic. I think, like, there were already some, like, pretty cinematic moments in Hollow Knight, but there's certain points of this game that just feel so, monumental, you know?
Yeah, this being one of them. I mean, it is the introduction to the semi-final boss.
I think more so to it than that, like, even though Grandmother Silk is the final boss, Lace is meant to be the, like, main crux of the emotion and the storytelling of the game. And so, like, where Grandmother Silk is the final fight, it feels like Lace is meant to be the most important fight.
Definitely does feel that way. Especially because I don't know about your casual run, but Lace 2 was definitely more difficult to fight casually than Grandmother Silk was.
100%. 100% Lace 2 was way more difficult than Grandmother Silk. I also think it's just a way cooler fight. As someone coming from a background in fighting games, Lace 2 feels like I'm playing a competitive fighting game with somebody else. So apparently it is Qentiko's birthday, so happy birthday to Qentiko.
Yeah, happy birthday, Qentiko. Looks like he will be getting maybe, hopefully this isn't caster curse, but hopefully he will be winning his match here as a little bit of a birthday present.
Imagine he chokes hard in Grandmother Silk.
I'd prefer not to imagine that. I think that would be very unfortunate.
Look, Qentiko, all love. I wish you the best. It would be funny. We can admit it how funny that would be after Cutie Puppy being like, yeah, hopefully for his birthday he could go ahead and win this, and then just bombs.
Man, I would feel so bad.
I would laugh so hard. I'll be so honest. I would laugh so hard.
Yeah, I think I'm never commentating again if that happens.
Qentiko, you have the opportunity to do the funnest and funniest thing ever. You're gonna ruin this man's career right now.
But you will be entering the Grandmother Silk fight.
Side note, Indominus on 1 heart as we enter into the single clapper in high halls. I've been in that position way too many times.
Yeah, the Maestros are not very nice enemies.
Maestros might be my most... Or, no, not my most hated. I just remembered all the random crap in the casual playthrough. Never mind. They aren't even close somehow. They're still up there. I hate the Maestros.
Yeah, can we also get some Silk Ds in the chat for Qentiko's Grandmother Silk?
Qentiko, as mentioned earlier, on pace for a nice good 54 minutes as we enter into minute 53 here.
I believe in the 54. Dominus, though, dropping back down to 1 mask.
Now we got the Swordsman and the Maestro here. Really easy to drop a heart. And as I say that, Indominus does so.
Very,
Maestro.
very unfortunate. Does look like he will be continuing, though.
I can't blame him. You know, it's not a bad pace to have right now.
Oh, definitely not. Very spooky Silk grab attack there from Qentiko's side.
Hey, you know what? The confidence, you love to see it. Takes the damage from the claw swipe, but still on point. Sending out the Silk Spear here. Gets her down, and that's gonna be it. 54 minutes.
That is an insane performance. Very well played to Qentiko. And that will be a GG.
But Qentiko, one of the top 10 runners right now on the leaderboards for a reason with that 5350. Even this 54, like, whatever it might be, that would be number 7. Or, yeah, number 7, number 8 on the leaderboard. Let's see. Correction, number 9. Jesus, I like totally misread that leaderboard for a second. I had an aneurysm. But yeah, that would be number 9 on the leaderboard. Like that's absurd.
Yeah, it is a very impressive performance, especially for a tournament race setting. Very well done to Qentiko.
Does mean that Qentiko is going to move on to the winners quarterfinals, facing off against winner of ZS Roach and Popless Rebel.
That match we do actually have about an hour
What do we
after
have?
this match finishes. It is
Oh,
scheduled to
nice.
start in 55 minutes. So if you're here in the chat now, make sure not to miss out on that one.
Yeah, in about 50 minutes we'll have that for you. In the meantime, we do still have Indominus's run going through. At this point, 56 minutes, and in the High Halls Gauntlet, Qentiko didn't have a single death, by the way. Indominus at 2 thus far. Hopefully we keep it at 2. Full health right here in the double clapper stage. I think the beauty right here so far of what Indominus was showing during the double clappers is just focusing on positioning.
The positioning when it comes to the clappers, you want to have them both on one side just so that you can hit those double spears on them. On top of the fact that it's a lot easier to react to what both of them are doing if both attacks are coming from one side as opposed to two.
Just keep it a lot easier for you to get out of there, right? Before taking a two mask hit.
It can be very rough sometimes. But we will be coming into the final 5 minutes of Indominus's run. About 5 minutes. Should be looking around a 103, maybe a low 104 time for him.
Lace 2 going to be the next big decider. It's not often that you see Grandmother Silk and these top level runs. Or I should say take a life in these top level runs, just because, you know, as you and I talked about, the like really hard hitting fights are that High Hall Gauntlet and that Lace 2, but there is still that Lace 2 to be fought.
I mean, Grandmother Silk is definitely not the easiest boss fight to fight fast either.
It can definitely still slow you down, especially as you have to be careful of the triple mask hit. Like, one of, if not, like, the only one that I can think of that does 3 masks of damage.
There is, on the final boss in the true ending, also is one attack that deals 3 damage.
That makes sense. I figured that I'll call it a shadow. We'll call it, I think that's a good name without giving spoilers. That shadow fight. I figured that probably did 3 hearts at some points. So
Yeah. Maybe we'll actually get a true ending race on here at some point. Although that run is sitting around the probably 3-hour, 20-minute mark for a race between highest level runners.
yeah.
Dominus doing a slice fight very well this far, only having to take 1 heal. Taking a lot of contact damage though, as one does. Down to 1 mask due to contact damage from 4.
Horrifying position to be in, but can still make up for it yet.
What's very interesting is that I find the better at the game you get, the more contact damage you take.
I think a big part of that is just like you doing more dashes to position quicker, and so it makes it so that you're taking more risks because you learn that you need to get in the right position, and so you end up taking more contact rather than actual swinging blows because you're trained to be aware of that.
It is definitely a weird phenomenon. But then there's also the point where you get so good at the game that you just know when you can dash to reposition and when you can't dash to reposition.
Yeah.
And that is the level of true mastery that I feel like most runners hope to achieve. But it does look like we will be seeing a 104 from Indominus. A whole 10 minutes slower than Qentiko, which is insane considering he only had 2 deaths in this run. And I feel like you don't lose 10 minutes from 2 deaths.
Yeah, no, there was also definitely some of the missed movement opportunities at times.
Yeah, that
So I
bone
think
bottom
that.
ball was not good. Can we also get a few Silk Ds in the chat for Indominus's soon-to-be finish here?
Right, and Grandmother Silk, it is her time to fall.
Very close dodge.
Getting right on in there on top of the Grandmother Silk, dishing out some nice good damage. The positioning for these attacks, nice little like crossword Sudoku style shenanigans.
Yeah, attacks coming in from everywhere from Indominus. So far, a very nice Grandmother Silk fight. A little bit of commentator curse there from him dashing into spikes.
Just built for it, you know. Ooh, taking quick pin stroke too.
We'll be healing
To
it
go
off
ahead and
though.
heal and slow down. Yeah. It's just once you get down to that 2 masks, it's so easy to take a random swing.
Not only that, 3 masks on the Grandmother Silk fight is kind of scary due to this attack. Luckily, he does get a good pattern, and will be finishing it off. That
There
will
we go, just
also be
slightly over an hour.
a nice 104 time for Indominus. So, GG's to both runners. If you can join the waiting VC, so that we can drag you in for an interview, that would be great.
Hello.
Hello, Indominus.
Hello, Indominus.
Hello.
You should be getting Qentiko in here as well, if I'm not mistaken.
There we go.
Hey, there we go. Hello,
Hello,
Qentiko.
GG's.
Hello, GG's.
So, how were you feeling about your 54 time, Qentiko?
Pretty glad, of course. The run was pretty clean. There are just little mistake almost everywhere, but yeah, solid run, solid.
Nice. And then for you and Dominus, we noticed that there were a lot more mistakes
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, it was not the ideal run, definitely. The nerves got to me, and as the moment I fell on Moss Grotto, on Bon Bottom, I was like, oh man, this is like 40 seconds or something. So a lot of mistakes. I died on Cogwork. I died on HHA. Um, yeah, it is what it is. GG's.
So one of the things I was curious about throughout a lot of the run and everything,
Uh-huh.
especially for you, Qentiko, as somebody who like is within that like top seven. I think you have the seventh slot right now, if I'm not mistaken, on the leaderboards. Is what adjustments to your routing and thought process happens when you switch over between like a tournament match versus a normal run?
Uh, Basically, I just will take more bench than usual, and yeah, I play more safe on bosses, on arena. That's all. But yeah, of course, you change your gameplay a bit.
Yeah, I say taking on a tournament setting, taking the benches is like a very positive thing, which I
Yeah, of
didn't
course.
I didn't do, but it's the most appropriate thing, I'd say.
Well, and that's kind of a hard thing to balance once you like if you know you're getting a little behind or if you know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
Yeah.
definitely. Since I knew I was behind, I just tried to all in, so I didn't take the 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 safest options. So yeah,
I mean
that
that
makes sense, and you know what, you gotta respect it because at some point you have to take some risks to try to get back in the lead, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean being behind from the get-go, does that
Yes.
create a pressure on you in any way?
Actually, I think it's the opposite. Um, being having such a bad start removed some of the nerves. Because I wasn't like, oh, this is a perfect start. I have to finish this very like perfect as well. No, since I had like a pretty bad start, entering in enter warmways, I just um some nerves left me, so I was like more light, let's say.
Well, that's nice to hear that you weren't as nervous as you might have been. Not good that you fell though, obviously.
Yeah. Still an unfortunate,
Like,
series of events, but glad that,
yeah,
it takes off some of that stress, lets you breathe a little more.
exactly. It was like, since it's already bad, why get nervous? Just focus and try to do your best. Basically, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Kentiko, on your victory, and moving on to round 3, where you now will have losers bracket as a safety net as well as best of 3. Thank you for joining us in the tournament, Indominus. Uh,
The pleasure is mine.
we hope to see you
Thank you,
in
Tiger.
chat
Thank
in the
you.
future.
Oh, surely, definitely. Thank you, Restreamers. Thank you, Tiger, for hosting the tournament. A pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Of course,
Thank
it
you
It
for
was
was fun.
streaming, for commentating.
If
Thanks.
chat
yeah,
has
it
any
was a wonderful
questions,
time.
now would be the time to ask. And if chat has no questions, then I think we will be finishing it up here. We do have a match starting in another 40 minutes. This will be Popless Rebel versus ZS Roach.
Oh,
Two,
that's a good match.
yeah, two very good runners as well. So And as Flat is saying happy birthday, Qentiko, again.
Oh,
Yes, happy birthday.
I didn't know that.
Oh, thank you,
Happy
thank
birthday,
you.
Qentiko.
39 today. Yeah,
Heck yeah.
That's great.
thank you, thank you.
But we hope to see you in chat in 40 minutes. And
Yeah, of course.
thank you
Yeah,
for
for sure.
watching. Have a great day, everyone.